Welcome back to the Journeys in Business series. I'm Jess, owner of Jess Creatives, and in this series, I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs to hear about their journeys in business and lessons they have learned. Hey, Kristin, thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, Jessica. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so to kick us off, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do?
Well, my name is Kristin Kaplan, and I have spent 10 years now in the wedding industry as a wedding planner, and then a few years ago kind of made the transition into first helping wedding pros with their businesses, and 2015, 2 years ago, launched the Wedding Business Bosses with my co-business owner, Ginny Krause. The two of us run that group. And then I also just help creatives as a whole with their pricing strategy and figuring out kind of which revenue streams they should go after and how to price their services and products in a way that's going to make them the kind of money they want to make in their businesses. So I'm super passionate about that as well.
I love it. So these transitions that you've had in your business, was it like, were people coming to you and like asking these questions, or was it like you saw a need, so then you started to kind of market yourself to help them?
It was kind of both. I first, when I was doing weddings, originally it started as people coming to me kind of saying like, hey, you've had a business and you've been doing this a while. They were newer planners, can you mentor me? Can you help me, get things started? Or can you give me advice? So I kind of first just launched, and I didn't really launch it. I just sort of offering mentorship opportunities to people. And it was mostly local people, but I had a few around the US that would come to me. And it wasn't something I officially offered on my website or anything. It was just like people would approach me and I'd be like, yeah, sure, here, this is what it costs. Come, we can do that. And then I started around the time that Periscope became a big deal, however briefly that was. I started one day just, as myself, kind of one of my big passions was always pricing. It was something I saw was a big issue in the wedding industry in general. I think across all creative industries, but people were not charging enough. So I would just go on Periscope and kind of start ranting about it in different ways and talking about different aspects of pricing. And that kind of got a lot more people being like, oh, she really, has a lot of, interesting stuff to say about this. And that's when I decided oh, I love talking about this. I love teaching on it. So maybe I'll make this more of an official gig now. So then I launched KristinKaplan.com and made it official and had an actual brand and went down that road. And that's kind of where my focus has now been for the past couple of years.
Fun. I love it. That's so cool. You just kind of saw the need and people were approaching you instead of being like, no, this is what I'm going to stay over here.
I'm just going to stay in this lane because that's all I know. I was like, all right, we'll give this a whirl.
Because I think it's definitely a need. I know so many people who underprice themselves. Some say I underprice myself. I used to be even worse. So it's definitely a need. So if you're listening to this, watching this, and you struggle with pricing, definitely go over to Kristin's website. She has lots of resources. And since, rest in peace, Periscope. But now you're on YouTube.
Yes.
And getting back into the video game, which is really exciting.
You were one of my big inspirations there, watching you on YouTube all the time. And I was like, all right, if Jessica can do a channel, I can do it. And I think what scares me a little bit about YouTube is just Periscope was great because there was no pretenses. You could just go live in your pajamas. There's whatever.
Yes.
And put out content, which I loved. YouTube's obviously a little more polished than that. So that's kind of was my main struggle in diving into it. But yes, last week I finally launched my YouTube channel and I'm starting to now put out a lot of that same pricing content over on YouTube.
Yay. So fun. I love it. And of course, I'm always a fan of video. So now you should definitely also go look at Kristin's YouTube channel. Boost that subscriber number.
Yeah, get me some subscribers.
I love it. So what is your favorite part about what you get to do?
I really love the teaching aspect, and it's something I never really thought would happen for me. I was one of those, as a child, I would line up all my dolls and play teacher with them, and I loved it. But I never thought I'd go down the road of teaching, especially because most people think of teaching early education and stuff. So now it's really cool that I sort of found my way into that sort of accidentally. And I absolutely love just teaching others and educating others and helping people sort of connect the dots on different things in their business. I geek out over things like numbers and stuff like that. And obviously that's why the pricing thing is so fun for me. I love spreadsheets and weird stuff like that. So when I can help somebody with that really obscure knowledge,
yes,
especially someone that hates that stuff, it makes me feel really, really good.
Yes. And I would also like to point out that, and you and I have talked about this other times, but you were experienced, you've run a business for a long time, you have all this knowledge. It wasn't like, oh, I'm new and now I'm going to teach everybody this.
Oh, I read a book on pricing last week, so I'm going to teach people about this.
Yes.
It was all stuff that I had been applying in my own business for the last 10 years. And then in mentoring other people, kind of helping them with these same issues that I saw over and over and over again. I kept seeing the same mistakes being made when it came to pricing strategies. So yeah, it was definitely something that I didn't just like read a book and be like, oh, I'm just gonna
now I'm gonna like turn that around and charge people for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think it's really cool that you didn't just, I mean, I know you did early on, you did like the mentorships, but you didn't just like, which not that this is a bad thing, but you weren't like, okay, so now I'm going to like teach you how to create a wedding planning business. Like you chose a really, really specific like topic within running a business, which I think is something that a lot more people could do instead. Like, again, like not that the whole topic
it allowed me a lot of huge opportunities, like speaking and stuff. I think the fact that I niched down very quickly, that's what got a lot more people paying attention on Periscope. And then like, I like mean to be the chick that talks about pricing all the time, but it was just something I loved talking about. And then that spread. And then it was like, people were emailing me like, hey, can you come speak to my group on pricing? Or can you do this? And I need help with this. And I think that's so true, is if you can find a way in your business, if you're trying to teach and educate, like get really serious about one subject and niche down as much as you can and become known for that very tiny subject. And you'll have a lot more success than trying to compete with people that are just sort of like, I teach business tips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So does everyone.
15,000 other people. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you've kind of touched on this a little bit already, but what is your big why? What drives you in your business?
For me, it is really, I've always been kind of an organizer and a planner at heart. That was obviously why I went into the world of wedding planning.
Yes.
Natural progression. And then now I love doing that in business form too, like helping with the planning aspect of your business. And I love kind of making roadmaps and workflows and getting people from point A to point Z in their business. And that's something I'm just sort of a natural organizer of people in that way. Like my husband kind of will joke sometimes, like, you know, if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, like I'd be really good person to stick by, because I'd be like, all right, this is what we are going to do.
I'm going to drive to your house and do that.
This is the plan. You're going to handle this. You're going to handle this. You're going to handle this. Okay, everyone break.
Like, ready, go.
Exactly. Like I've always been good at that naturally. People called me bossy a lot when I was a kid, but I was just a leader and I was just organized.
Exactly.
That was all.
I saw a meme I think it was either this morning or yesterday, that was like, I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. Like,
exactly. But I would do that with like, you know, you put me in a group project and I was always the leader and be like, all right, this is how it's going to go. Like,
yes.
It's just something I naturally, you know, move towards. So for me though, I love doing that, and I love doing that with other people and other businesses. So that's kind of been my big driver.
Yeah. I really like how you have always paid attention to the things that you're naturally drawn to and that you have liked. I mean, even from like growing up and being a kid, that like organizing and all that kind of stuff. Like if you look back at, because I've heard, you know, like when people are like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Or, well, they don't ask me that anymore, but when they used to, and they would, you know, they always tell you like, look at what you most enjoy doing growing up, and that will kind of guide you. And so I think it's just really cool that you have followed that and kind of done it in different ways and different routes, because you helped the brides get from point A to point Z.
Exactly.
And now you help business owners get that same route. So I think I think it's important for people to kind of pay attention to like, what are people asking you the most about?
What are your strengths?
What do you enjoy the most?
Yep.
And that kind of stuff.
And make sure that that's exactly the type of stuff you can be. And that's the cool thing too, I think, is that I took that idea of like, I'm an organizer and a planner, and now I'm applied it in multiple ways in my life. And so if you can look to what are, you know, my sort of strengths and superpowers, and how can I apply those in different ways in what I do?
Yeah. Love it. So if you could go back to your first week, first month of business and tell yourself something to prepare for this road ahead, what would you say?
Oh, it's a good one. I would say that you have to sort of trust the long game. Like this is not an overnight thing. I think even when I started my planning business 10 years ago, you kind of immediately think like, oh, by next year I'm going to have like 40 weddings and I'm going to be like top of the game. And no, building a business is a long road.
Yes.
And getting to where you want to go is probably going to take you quite a bit longer than you think it is. So I think if I would love to have told myself that, to just like be patient. Keep your head down, do your work. You'll get there eventually, but it's not going to be as fast as you think it will. Don't get annoyed with yourself when it doesn't happen as quickly as you want it to, because building a business is not an overnight thing. It really takes a long time, and getting to where you want to go can be a while, and that's okay.
And it doesn't help that we always see these Facebook ads of like, I made $20,000 in 6 hours. Like
last year I was penniless and living on the street and had no skills whatsoever, and now I have a 6-figure business.
And I go to the Bahamas all the time.
I know.
No, like I don't think that's helping with people's impatience.
No, it doesn't work like that. Sustainable businesses take like years. And I tell people that, like my people that I work with and consult with, I'm like, on average, it takes about 3 years for a business. Most businesses just to profit. Like you're going to have a few years of just putting money in and doing the work, and you're probably going to see nothing. And then you'll start to see some growth. And on average, it takes small businesses like 5 years to start making a living at this, like an actual, like, oh, you can quit your job and make a living. And that's and I think that's very fair, and people need to start thinking about that. Like, and don't get upset with yourself if you're not an overnight success, because that's actually not the norm.
No. I watch a lot of Gary V's videos.
I love
and stuff.
him.
And lately has talked so much about patience, because people will do his call-in show and ask for advice, and they're like, how do I build my business, or how do I get more followers, or whatever? And he's like, how old are you and how long have you been in business? And they're like, I'm 22, I've been in business for a month. And he's like, why are you calling me? Like,
you have a long way to go.
He's like, you have so much time. And I have, like, I don't think that I have really, I mean, I probably have. I don't think I have a lot of struggles with this, like, patience. And, like, I feel like I've just kind of gone along, like, go with the flow in my business. But as I've been listening to this patience thing over and over and over again, it's definitely helped me just, like, it's gonna, like, I've been in business for 5 years, which to some is a good amount of time.
Just great.
Like, but I'm also like, I'm 27. Like, I have 20 years to grow.
You're still a baby business.
Like, I have like a long ways away ahead of me. And I've just had to realize, like, I'm only 27. I've been in business for 5 years. I'm like, I don't need to, like, go out and have a 5-person team right now.
No.
Like, I have, like, people keep asking me, like, oh, are you going to build a team? Or are you going to hire people? Or are you building your team soon? And I'm like, no. Like, I thought about it and I tried it and it was fine. But I just realized, no, like, not right now. In this season phase of my business, like, I'm fine with it just being me. I think I got caught up with, like, oh, we have to grow and everyone has a team. And
everyone has a team. That's the next logical step.
Like, okay, now I need a team. And
I need to hire people.
Which is fine when you're ready. But I was just like, I'm 27. I have a long time. I can build a team later. Like,
and you're doing just fine right now. You're happy. You're enjoying your work.
And that's what I realized. I'm like, no, actually, I'm fine doing this. Like, I have a little, like, 5 hours of help a month, but like, that's not really a team. But, it's just, you have to really step back and not get caught up in, like, oh, everyone else is building a team and I
that's
have
how you
to.
grow.
Like,
that's the next thing.
Or whatever advice it is. Like, do you really need to do whatever it is that they're doing, what everyone else is saying? Like, okay, but where are they at in their business when they give you this advice? And does it apply to you right now? Or
And I feel like it goes along with the money thing, where everyone, we all want to make $1 million, sure. But at the same time, people forget that the higher up you go in that world of business, like, it's a lot more stress. It's a lot more on your plate, because then you're managing team members, it's big. You're now in big business land, and big business land is a whole other ball game. So it's like stopping and thinking about, like, we want to make the money, but, like, are you ready to, like, be a CEO of a big business or not? Like, I'm with you. I'm like, not at this stage. I am very happy in my one person land over here. I have 3 kids that I'm trying to deal. Like, this is perfect for now.
You're like, I'm already managing a team, and they are very tiny team members.
It's called my family. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not at a stage where I want to be managing 6 other people. I might want to in 5 years. I don't know. I'll see when I get there. But it's this idea that we all have to do that right now. And it's like, no, everyone calm down. Just take a deep breath. Build your business slowly. Have some patience. You'll get to the places you need to get to when you do.
Yes.
You don't need to rush this.
Exactly. So if you could start your business over fresh tomorrow, what would you do differently?
Oh, I would, I think, not be afraid to make changes sooner. I think we all, like, for me, I think I had been asked about mentorships or things of that nature, I think for probably a year or more before I was like, maybe I should do this. Cause I was like, oh, that's like, that's not my wheelhouse. I'm not experienced enough for that. Like, when I could have been just open to more opportunities earlier instead of feeling like I needed to do that, I needed to I'm a wedding planner. I need to stay in this lane. This is what I do. I think that would be a big change. And really it wasn't until I think the Savvy Business Owners group was the first foray into like the online entrepreneurial world. Like I was already doing mentorships and all of this over there, but like I didn't even know like the whole online world was like a thing. Like I got into it. I was like, whoa, there's like
what is going on?
There's this whole other world I didn't even know existed. So like being open to some of those opportunities a little bit sooner. I wish I had kind of not been scared to fail or to make jumps into different things that, hey, may not work out, but that's okay. Like you got to try some stuff to see what else you might like or what else you might be good at. And I wish I would have done that a little bit sooner, but hey, I am where I am.
Yes, but it's important because I think a lot of business owners get caught up in like, well, I don't want to fail, or like this is comfortable, and so I'm good right here.
I'm happy over here. I'm not going to try any new things.
Which is like the opposite of what we were talking about 5 minutes ago of just going like not getting
I think
too
there's a
wrapped
nice
up.
balance.
Yeah, you have
having patience in growing your business, but if a cool opportunity comes along or you have an idea, like not being afraid to give it a whirl because it could be a new revenue stream. It could be a cool new branch of your business that you didn't think about. So definitely trying new things, but at the same time, not feeling like you have to try these new things because everybody else is doing it, or it's the only road to success, or you have to build your business in 3 days.
Yes. Like 3 days. No, let's not do that.
No, don't do that.
Remember, 3 years, not 3 days.
3 years is much better.
So if you had one piece of advice for someone who's struggling with the pricing aspect of their business, what would you say?
I would say go back to the numbers at the end of the day. I think people spend so much time looking at what everybody else is charging as opposed to thinking about, well, no, look, do the math and what do you need to make in your business to be happy? And use that approach instead. That is always kind of my first go-to with people because and then you get a lot of pushback and everyone's like, but other people are charging. Stop worrying about what other people are charging. Many of them aren't making money either. So not helpful. Just worry about, do your own numbers, figure out what your costs are, what your revenue streams are, what your sales goals are, what the type of work you can reasonably handle, and figure it out for you and kind of keep your eyes on your own paper a little bit more with your own pricing strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense because you don't know, I mean, you may know, but like, you don't know if they have a team, how much they're paying their team, what's their cost of living, like, are they paying for ConvertKit or do they have the free MailChimp? Like, you don't know all the things they're paying for or not paying for. So it's like, and that is obviously part of what goes into like setting your pricing, what you have to pay for, then pay yourself and all that jazz.
And in the online world, like people are in different like states and totally different, people in New York have to charge differently than people in the middle of nowhere, I don't know, Kansas. Like picking them in. I love how we both went for Kansas. I'm like, well, what's a state in the middle of the country? And so they're going to have totally different, standards of living. And so they have to charge differently. So that's where you can't keep looking at what everybody else is doing. You got to figure out what you need and start there.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to figure out, but you have to be strategic about it instead of like, I remember like my first year of business, this is so bad. I went around and looked at other designers.
That's what everybody does. Don't worry.
And was like, okay. And then like averaged all of them. And then was like, And I don't know. I like throwing out a number. It was like 700. And then I was like, that sounds too much. So then like lower.
You literally did what everybody else does. They look at what everybody else is charging, find a nice common average, and then they subtract about 30%.
Yes.
And then they go in with that price. And you're like, what the? You don't even know if you're like covering your expenses. You have no idea if you're going to even be able to eat or have anyone left over to eat. Like, that is not how to approach your pricing.
No. Thankfully, I raised my prices after that and was
good.
More strategic about that. That's not how I price myself now. But
I'm so glad.
Yes. And I don't know where, like, I don't know if I read that somewhere or like how I got that idea, but that's what I did. That was like back when I was still, it was my side gig and that kind of thing. But yeah, it was like, oh, and then I remember seeing prices of like, oh my gosh, they charge that much. And sometimes when people are like, oh, your price is like, I can't afford that. I'm like, okay, like that's fine. But, or when people are like, why is it so much? And I'm like,
because I want to eat.
Like, because I have bills to pay. Like,
yeah, like I hate when people ask that question. It's like, don't we all want to make a living? Like, that's why it costs that much. Like,
yeah, it's
not rocket science.
It just, that's the way it is. Okay?
Yeah. If you want me, because I'm really good at this, like, then this is what it costs.
Yes. So what are you working on for the rest of 2017?
Well, my kind of big thing that I did this year was finally launch the pricing workbook at the start of the year. So now I'm kind of I really wanted to spend this year just kind of dialing down on one thing. So I feel like as entrepreneurs, we tend to, have like squirrel syndrome or shiny object syndrome. And, we're barely finished with one project and we're already on to the next one. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to sit down and just sell the pricing workbook this year and really focus on that and focus on creating a lot of content around pricing, which is where the YouTube channel came in. And also I just put together kind of a mini course all about kind of the 6 most common pricing mistakes that's over on my website for people to grab to kind of just get them started and thinking about where they might be going wrong in their pricing strategy if they're not making the kind of money they think they should be making in their business. So that's kind of my thing this year, is really just dialing into that one thing and helping people as much as possible really wrap their minds around pricing in a way that is not scary. And I mean, guys, it's only math. I mean, it's not even like a calculus math. It's like basic math. It's like addition and multiplication.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of division in there, but like, it's really not that hard. So kind of helping people not be so scared of it and tackle it and really start to look at that in their business.
Yes, I love that. And I love that you decided just to focus on one thing. Because like you said, so many people are like, okay, done in next project and done in next project, or like just
they sort of half launch 87 different things. And you're like, I don't understand. Like, first of all, what do you do? Because I can't tell because there's so many things. And yeah, it's like they don't launch one thing like really well and just kind of go all in on it. And I also felt like that would be a great learning opportunity for me this year to like learn how everything that goes into marketing it, producing it, and in all the different things, whether it's, creating content on YouTube or Facebook ads, like I wanted to learn it all with one project in front of me. And then now I can go later and apply that to other products that I might want to put out in future years, but then I know it all and I spent the time learning it. So
yeah. Super smart. I love it. So where can we connect with you online to get your workbook and follow you on social media and all that kind of fun stuff?
Well, if you want to check out my mini course all about pricing mistakes, you can go to KristinKaplan.com, and that's where you can sign up for that. But if you want to just go straight and learn more about the pricing workbook, that's over at thepricingworkbook.com. And I'm over on Instagram at Kristin C. Kaplan because somebody took the name. Before I could. So you can find me over on Instagram, pretty much everywhere. Twitter, although I'm never on Twitter anymore. I mean, are people still on Twitter? I'm not always sure.
I am.
You are, that's right.
But not a lot of people.
No.
There are still like, a couple million, but no, it's definitely.
But it's not what it used to be.
No.
That's my handle for most things. And you can also find me on YouTube. I don't have an official channel handle yet because I'm not cool enough, but hopefully it will be soon. But if you just look me up over there, it's pretty easy to find. Kristin Kaplan.
Awesome. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.